We have most of our garden planted. Today is watering day because we haven't had much water. I'm also going to be going into my worms today. I'm going to show y'all my worm bin. I'm going to show y'all how I feed my worms. It will be a little bit longer before I'm ready to go in and get any worm castings, but for right now they're growing. They're breaking down compost in the soil, and I'm going to go feed them. I'm going to take y'all with me today. I also have a couple plants. I wanted to show y'all the really cool thing about having other people in our community that like to grow things like we do. Oh, y'all see Bob behind me, don't y'all? I forgot that Bob was back here with us. Is we get to trade. I overplanted calendula. My friend overplanted a couple of other things. We've been trading. And I have one that I bought from Azure that I'm super excited about. I'm going to show y'all a clip about that. It's not really as much for us as it is for the bees. It is a beautiful old-timey flower called Kiss Me Under the Garden Gate. It's absolutely beautiful. Actually, this was planted in Thomas Jefferson's flower bed. So it just goes to show you how old this is. I really got this more or less for my pleasure looking at, which I don't do a lot of, but for the bees as well. It's great for pollinators. So I'm going to be showing y'all some of those things that I've traded with people. It's a great way to bargain and get more plants for free. To have them things that you don't have, find locals in your community that like to do like-minded things. It makes things a little bit more pleasurable when you know that you have others out in your community. They've overplanted, maybe you've overplanted, and y'all can swap some plants and it basically costs you nothing. It's really cool. It builds great relationships too, people that you can depend on. This is the one I bought, Kiss Me Under the Garden Gate. It's gonna grow off and put off beautiful blooms. These are both mugwort that I traded. I overplanted calendula. She overplanted mugwort, so we swapped up a couple. So it really is fun to have people that you can trade with, trade plants with. I might have a little bit of addiction. Okay, I'm just making a confession here. I might have a little bit of addiction, but it really is fun to swap out those plants with other people. I've actually already planted 2 of those seed trays. Here is something pretty cool I think that y'all may like. This is olive oil. I've taken violets, dandelions, and plantains that I have picked from the yard. I did add a couple of calendula flowers that were already blooming. They were in a couple of weeks later, but I literally just put those in olive oil. I've been letting them sitting in my hot greenhouse. It's probably been about 3 or 4 weeks, so it's getting really close to being ready. I'm gonna strain off these herbs. I will use this oil when I make salves. I have a video of salves already, so if y'all are interested in that, we'll post a link for that video. The only different thing that I'm doing, instead of using regular olive oil, I have infused olive oil now with all these things that are really healthy for you, really great for your skin. Simple to do. You're just going to put them over in olive oil and let them sit in a warm environment. My greenhouse is the perfect environment for that. There are a number of different ways you can do it, through heating on the stove, crock pot. There are lots of other different methods. This is just a method that I'm using because it requires no energy. I'm not in a rush for it, so that's why I have that there right in the door. Calendula is very known for the skin. Anytime I think of calendula, I think of the skin. They can be used for so much more. Those are another thing that goes back to the oils. I love to put mine in oil, infuse them in the oils, use those oils whether I'm doing diaper rash ointment, skin salves, calendula. I like to grow my own. They can be bought online. If you're not interested in growing, you can buy organically grown calendula and make your own oils that way. I like to grow them. They're fairly easy, and the bees like them, so they're beneficial for our farm for a number of reasons, which is one of the reasons why I grow them. Off to the worms. I'm going to show you all my worms. I have them over in our little storage shop, and it stays pretty cool in here. It stays pretty dark in here. This is my scraps I'm going to give them. I don't give them meat, dairy, anything like that. It's pretty dark in here. But I'm gonna flip the light on and show y'all my worms. there you go. There you have it. I fed my worms. They got leftovers from the kitchen. Mostly gonna be like my leftover eggshells, bananas, cut the extra ends or peel the tomatoes or apples or whatever. They get those kind of scraps every couple of weeks. The soil does need to stay moist in there. And I'm kind of excited to show y'all when y'all will see me pull the dirt out from the worms. I have a little straining system. The dirt falls through and the scraps and the worms stay up top. I use that to plant in. I don't do it very often though, because it is a very slowly timed process. But between the worms, between the rabbits, between the chickens, we do get lots of natural compost and fertilization to use around the farm. Once the worm container has been built and established, it's really no cost in it after that. Your worms do all the work. The containers, there's no cost in upkeep in that. You're really just giving your worms any kind of scraps or leftovers. My elderberries are taken over in the back. You're just basically giving them all of the leftovers. Liddy, I tag along. So the neat thing about having worms is once you do an initial cost of container, a couple of things to put in there. There's some bedding you need, like shredded up newspaper, any kind of shredded up paper, shredded up cardboard. Once you have those things, most of that you can find for free. But if you have to purchase something along the lines of that, those initial purchases, and some of the straining stuff could actually be made too for fairly cheap. Once you have those, the worms, there's no cost in them. So you have your worms, you get your setup done. There's lots of instructional videos out on how to do that. Ours is very simple. There's no high maintenance to it. There's no cost in it afterwards. So that's the really good thing about having worms, is that once you get your initial worms put in, they just do their own thing after that, and you're just feeding them whenever you get scraps, giving them a little bit of water and let them do their own thing. So y'all haven't met Romeo. So Romeo is our pup farm dog now. He is going, I was gonna walk over here and show y'all my onions, but he ran up behind us. He is more or less going to be our working dog on the farm. He still has a lot of training to do. We got him in hopes of getting him to help us move cattle and sheep. Romeo is going to be more of the farm dog, the working dog. Juliet's going to be more of the protector, guarder. She loves family. She loves to jump up in our lap and lick on us and all of the attention, to where Romeo is just a little bit different than that. He would rather run out to the chickens, go out into the cow pastures. That's just kind of their nature. But basic commands they've done real good with. Getting them actually to exactly what we want, I think, is going to be a bit of a challenge, because Romeo does already know how to catch chickens for me. If any chick or chickens, whatever, gets out of the barn, he has already learned the really easy command to go get them. And he's very gentle with them, but he will put his paw on top of the back of the chicken and hold them down until we can get there and get them, which makes our lives a lot easier, especially when the roosters that are way down in the far corner in the pig pen, they're way down there. When they get out, they sometimes will fly over the fence. When they get out, they're really hard to catch, but Romeo has made our lives a whole lot easier now. I wasn't planning on pulling up a garlic today, but my little helper, where are you? My little helper pulled one up for me. So I guess I am making garlic infused honey after all. I use that as a face cleaner just about every day. I am almost out, so I will go and clean this up, put it in my greenhouse, just put it anywhere in the house that stays pretty warm, and let it sit there for a couple of weeks. If you want to go and Google the benefits of garlic and honey, amazing, amazing, amazing. That's all I can tell you. Garlic and honey, I love to use it on my face. Put the garlic and honey on there and let it sit. Yes, it is sticky, so you need to be available, like shower, bathtub, over the sink, you know, whatever. I do like to let mine sit for a little while, so in the bathtub, in the shower is the best option. I don't do in the morning times because of my hair. Nights is best for me, but it is amazing, great benefits. Y'all make sure you read up about it. Where are you going today, Sayla?
Piano.
How long have you been taking piano?
2 years, I think. About to be 3, I think. I don't know.
You like it?
Yes, ma'am.
You like your teacher?
Yes, ma'am.
Last thing on the agenda that completely slipped my mind was moving the meat birds. They're right here in the front of our yard. They need to be moved. They're pretty, not really bad, but I've tried to kind of move them along the grass around in the front yard to give them fresh grass, but move them quick enough where they're not destroying one area where they're at. It does not take them long to destroy an area. They're ready to be moved, so that's one chore that we're fixing to get to it. I know a lot of people, a lot of homesteaders like the idea of having Cornish cross. They're not for us. This will be the last time we do Cornish cross. One day we'll sit down, talk to y'all about our plans for the meat birds. They're already in effect. I'm growing off a different breed. I have another breed that's on the way. They grow really well in our area. Not only do they thrive in our area, I will be able to get eggs from both of these breeds. I will be hatching my own meat birds. That sounds more sustainable than having to depend on somewhere else to buy our birds from. Our birds, anything that goes wrong, the birds are not tough birds. They're not hardy. They die easy. If anybody else tells you anything any different, I just don't know. We have not had good luck with those birds. They die really, really easy for us. We are going to a different 2 breeds that we're going to be combining that will be our meat birds. We're going to raise those up. We tried those with a breed called the Freedom Rangers, Red Rangers. They were crazy. They did not, maybe they're called Freedom Rangers for a reason. We've talked about this a little bit before. They do not like to stay in their pens, in their cages. We had them a huge pen, and those things could clear the top of that. They're really fast too. They're mean. Ours were super mean. We don't have mean roosters or chickens here. Really mean. Probably the meanest breed bird that we've ever dealt with. So we're not going there with the Cornish cross anymore. Freedom Rangers are not a great choice for us either. American Bressy, a white Jersey giant. We'll tell y'all a little bit more about our plans there. I've kind of already spilled the beans. It's not going to be Cornish cross related. We're not going there with the Cornish cross again. We ordered a lot from this last batch. We have lost at least half of what we've already ordered. That's not good odds. This is not the first time it's happened. We're just not happy with the Cornish cross. And you're always dependent on buying them. They are not able to grow past a certain age because of their weight. They get so big so quick that their hearts can just not tolerate their weight. Their hearts basically give out and they'll die. So raising Cornish cross up for layers is not an option, which means you're always dependent on getting your meat birds from somebody else. You're paying their expense and you're waiting on them. I don't like that idea. I want us to be more free and independent in our meat birds. So we're gonna be raising our own breeds. We're gonna be hatching out our own eggs. And then that way we have our own source of chicken when it comes to meat, that we're not dependent on somebody else. That's just not sustainable. The Cornish cross just don't grow out well. They're good sized birds. I love the big double breast, but knowing that there's a huge possibility that they're not gonna survive. So whether it's extreme heat or extreme cold, they're just not a hardy bird. They're not in our area anyway. We've not had great luck with them, so they're just not gonna work here. These are our last bits of birds. Couple of more weeks with them before they go to freezer count. When they go to freezer count, we're done. I've got my American Breasties growing up. They're a couple of weeks old. I did find them locally from a local farm around here. They're not going to be as big as I was hoping, but I've got a plan. My white Jersey Giants when I'm ready for my hatching eggs. So I'm super excited about that, but for now we've got to go get the Cornish cross moved. Until they go to freezer count, we're going to take care of the ones that we have the best we can, like we always have, until they're ready to feed us. That chore is done. What's so funny is it always is actually pretty easy because they're so hungry. They like literally run to you because they want food. One of the things y'all saw me move this mobile chicken coop in, I'll post a link to that. We've had this thing for a couple of years. Very, very pleased with it. We're not affiliated with them. The reason why we bring that in, even though we have netting, is this provides them shade from our heat and shelter from the rain. So you see I brought that in for them. I have it propped up so they can come and go. The last of the chores that needed to be done today, like I said, I'll post that link. We're not affiliated with them, but we do love their product. It is very heavy duty. I will not say that it is economical. It is an investment, but it's been a great investment for our family. One of the things I've really been trying to teach myself is scheduling. It's not always easy because I love to come outside, and when I get something in my mind that I'm gonna do, a job I'm gonna do, a lot of times I do that job and then I see something else and I can't like have peace in my mind knowing that it needs to be done and it's not done, so I just do it. But I'm really gonna start setting myself up on a schedule. I think it's much needed for me, to where I don't get out and spend my entire day outside and sometimes neglect doing the fun things with my children. So set aside times. I'm gonna have block periods of time. It'll be scheduled times where I work outside. I don't let myself get too overwhelmed because there's always gonna be something to do on the farm. Y'all saw I started, I stopped. There's always something to do unless it is just an absolute necessity, like moving these meat birds to a clean area. It's gonna have to wait till tomorrow. There's always something that I'm gonna see that needs to be done. Right now, just standing where I'm standing, I can tell you multiple things in this area that I could do, but it's gonna have to wait till another day. With that being said, we're fixing to fill up these waters. I'm headed in to spend time with the kids. Happy homesteading, y'all.